Where would you like?
Here, I would
This
like
side,
you.
yeah,
This is your side.
Oh, my favorite lights.
And I brought some water if you want here in the front.
Perfect, yeah. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I'm using these lights a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like for my traveling film kit. Yeah.
Are we ready? Yeah, we're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go. Then I can start with welcome, Mike Figgis.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and I'm so excited to ask you some questions.
I'm excited to answer.
Yeah.
Oh, to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first question is, can you describe your documentary in 3 words?
It's officially a kind of behind-the-scenes recording of Francis Ford Coppola's shooting of Megalopolis, his last feature film, which he financed himself. And through my connection through Nicolas Cage, his nephew, I had become a friend of Francis. And so when I found out he was making this film, after 30 years of trying, and he was going to finance it himself, I offered myself up as a fly on the wall. And a couple of months later he accepted and said, literally, can you be here in like 3 weeks? And we start shooting. Yeah. Have you got a visa? So it just became very quickly a practical thing of like, how do I get ready in such a short amount of time? And also, suddenly a little bit nervous about like, how do I shoot this documentary? Because there was no talk of budget or of having a big crew. I also didn't want to have a big crew, because I thought to get a more intimate portrait of Francis, who's a very kind of obviously unique, eccentric character. I wanted the kind of equipment that would allow me to get really close to him, and without any kind of like flag waving of, oh, we're making a film, or so I wanted a small camera and just small profile. Yeah. So that's the background to the film.
Nice. Thank you. And my second question is, what was the first picture you saw when the story came to you?
Of the documentary?
Yeah, the documentary, of course.
I didn't approach it in that way at all. I thought, I didn't do any research into the background of the film. I found that out as I was filming. So I have a kind of philosophy when I see a film for the first time, also when I'm going to do something like this, which is go completely with a sort of virgin kind of approach, which is I don't know anything, and the film is me finding out. You know, in the same way tonight I'll go and see a film, and actually I do know a little bit about it, but at festivals I love the idea of you just go and the film starts, you have no idea what it is, and then you know you're very open, you have no prejudice or prejudgment about what you're going to see. And if the film is strong, it will speak to you. And the same with shooting Francis and the documentary. I just went as I am a curious kind of filmmaker. What is happening? And using the camera to try and, using that sharpened perception that the camera gives you if you're a filmmaker as a kind of almost like a microscope. Kind of, what's going on there? You know? Yeah, so that was my approach. So I didn't really have a preconceived picture at all. Yeah. And also it developed organically. So at the beginning it was just rehearsing in a kind of gymnasium with horrible light. Kind of yellow flickering light. Yeah. And then now you're on the film set and it's beautifully lit. And then Francis is in the dark looking at his monitor, you know. Yeah. So you have this drama of light and and at a certain point I think, wow, I'm filming something that is so expensive, but it's not my problem. It's not I'm just a guest in this location. Yeah. Right? Kind of interesting. Wow. Yeah.
What do you think is the one thing every great documentary needs?
Truth.
Truth.
Yeah, and I have a real problem with documentaries these days.
Okay. How come?
To make a documentary, you need a budget. It's a film. To get a budget these days, you have to approach somebody who would give you the money. The first thing they will say is, where is your deck? Where is your visualization of the documentary? and you think, how would I know that if I'm making a documentary? How do I know what it's going to be? Because the truthful documentary is I find out the truth. Not that I know what the truth is and now I'm going to film some things to prove my theory. So the issue now with documentaries is that they're basically quite high budget. Let's say the Netflix, let's say, example, high profile cinematography, you know, almost like studio quality.
Okay.
You know, that's expensive.
Yes.
So they're not going to give you the budget, let's say 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, to make that kind of, unless you give them a very precise deck, which they call it, with all these visualizations of what you think. But then you've already made the documentary and you hadn't even shot it yet.
Yeah.
You know? So that's my problem. That's not truth. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You know. So to make a truthful documentary, you need to be free of economic restriction, which I was, because it was just me and a couple of people and a small camera. And secondly, not preconceived, you know, but really just open to, wow, this is, I don't know what it is, but I know it's going to be interesting, because he's Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah.
And I know from Hearts of Darkness and from what I know about Francis personally, that he's, you know, extrovert, eccentric. As his wife said to me when I interviewed her, I said, any advice? And she said, yes, he'll change his mind all the time.
Okay.
Be ready.
Yeah.
And so that was the best advice.
Yeah. And then I will move forward to Nikon.
Yeah.
Because the Nikon ZR is called an all-in-one camera. What's your take on it?
Pardon?
What's your take on it?
It's complicated, you know. So my goal over the last 20 or something years has been filmmaker, but also, let's say, you know, what's the necessity of invention is whatever situation, you know. It's like I find myself in situations that go, okay, I need to actually design something to make this work. So when I first started shooting digitally, I designed something called the Fig Rig, which was something to hold the camera in a more stable way, right? It became very successful. I licensed it to Manfrotto and so on, and it became part of everyone's kit, you know, for the next, let's say, 16 years. And so when I look at the new generation, the Z series, you know, you're kind of always looking at, okay, what do I need from a camera, and therefore what is economically the best practical design for this camera. So I've been talking to Nikon about, from a filmmaking point of view, this is what I think you need to look at. And I think the Z series and the collaboration with Z-Red, is a good step in the right direction. I don't think it's completely there yet. And there are things I want to discuss with them about the design. So here's my feeling. Technology has evolved in such a way that manufacturers feel they have to give you hundreds of options.
Yes.
Now, hundreds of options requires a manual this thick, or a very complex menu on the camera with very small writing and small buttons. To me, the most awful thing I can imagine. Yeah. I really want a camera that you turn it on. Let's go back to, let's say, my beautiful Arton 16mm camera. I turned it on. I knew I had a couple of options: aperture, lens, shutter speed, maybe something like that. But very few options, you know. A light meter, but very quickly you could judge with your eye, you know, because you just got used to light, how to judge light, and that meant you could shoot very, very quickly, and then just focus on the dynamics and the aesthetics of what you were shooting, as opposed to constantly thinking, is the autofocus on, have I got the blah blah, is the shutter at the right speed, you know. So for me, too many options, you know. So what I would love is to be able to kind of like simplify it right down. And of course they say, well, of course you can create your own little file within that is just your favorite options. But then it also just requires a lot of navigating on a very small screen. which is time I would rather be spending looking at the lens or something like that. So I'd like the camera to be simpler, and I'd like the buttons to be in exactly the right place for my fingers. And I would like the balance. So things like the balance of the camera, how it feels in your hand, the weight of it, and then this really cool thing now with a cage where you can, you can add a light, or you can add, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So exciting time for camera design. Yeah. And I just think that we have this thing where here's a stills camera that shoots video, and what I say to Nikon is, make a video camera that shoots stills if you want to shoot stills. Actually, but to be honest, I look at stuff I've shot on 4K and I go, why am I shooting stills? Because I have 24 of these per second, and I find the perfect image. At 4K, the quality is so good. That you kind of start to redefine. Okay, what is a still now? So, from a design point of view, really a crucial and interesting time for Nikon. And I've been a Nikon user literally all my adult life. So, I still have lenses I bought in my 20s, that I still use, like 15mm lens and all of that, and they give a certain look, aesthetic, and beautiful. And the new lenses are so sharp that that's another thing, So yeah, interesting.
Great, thank you. What keeps you inspired as a director?
What keeps you inspired is the sort of wake-up call that you give yourself, when you say you have the immense privilege of being able to work in this genre of cinema, which is such an incredible, untapped, unexplored. People think, we've done everything. We haven't even begun. Because the future of cinema is, the next 10 years is going to be amazing, because the ideas of cinema, of feature-length films, of distribution, they're all going to have to change, whether they like it or not, And you have like YouTube and Instagram and all these different ways that people are sharing visual information. Movies could be like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. There's no reason why it has to be 95 minutes, if you're not focusing on just cinema release. So when you accept that the generations coming up now, how do they look at cinema? They don't look at cinema the way my generation look at cinema. They're much, and I agree with them. I mean, I've sometimes, like 2 in the morning, I've been watching Instagram for an hour and a half. I have to go to bed now. Because they have my algorithm now, and I'm seeing clips that are so amazing, and I'm perfectly entertained. For an hour and a half. It's like that's better than most feature films I've seen recently. So I get a bit of Glenn Gould, or I get Goddard talking, or I get another great film clip, or some, John Coltrane or something. It's like, wow, and it's, the scene changing. And if I don't like it, I go to the next one. It's really interesting. So for me, that's cinema. And when you say that's cinema, then these kind of cameras become like, that's your tool. You wouldn't want to shoot that kind of stuff on a huge camera.
No.
It wouldn't work. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get that footage. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for young filmmakers? Which are investing in probably the first camera system?
2 things. On the one hand, you kind of go, like, you have all these freedoms, you have all this immense, opportunities for things that my generation did not have, which is like, it's virtually free, even if you have just an iPhone, which is a rather magnificent little camera in itself, right? So, you have all these advantages that I didn't have. On the other hand, nobody would tell you that filmmaking is easy. It's really complicated, and the chance of success on a big scale is quite small. Really small. So you have to factor that in as well. So I would say my best advice is find a way of learning the most useful things about filmmaking. And they would be things like, how do you hold a camera? When to move a camera? Do you need 10 lights, or is 1 light good enough? Do you I would, I've written a book about it,
Yeah.
called Digital Filmmaking, where I kind of try and just highlight just the essential things that you would need to make an interesting film. And I suggest don't waste time on these other things, because they will just dilute your creativity.
Yeah.
And your energy, actually, because it's a lot to do with energy, The energy to make a film is huge.
I agree.
Huge, it's like, it's exhausting, Yeah.
So, a question for you. What's your comfort film?
My comfort zone.
Yeah, what kind of films or documentaries do you feel comfort? I feel good when I watch this.
Well, recently, I saw a film called Anatomy of a Fall. And I've forgotten the director's name. It's a French woman. And I saw that and I felt really, two things. One, a little bit jealous.
Okay.
Because it was so good.
Okay.
And secondly, just like, wow, it's so great to see something by someone who completely understands what a film is. All the aspects. Like, she has it all under control. She has sound, she has acting, she has the script, she has where to put the camera, which is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Right? Where to put the camera.
Yeah.
Essential to great cinema, right? And that was a rare example of someone I felt really understood cinema, rather than someone who was competent. The films were okay, generic, predictable, well acted, clean, boring.
Yeah.
So it's quite rare in the films that I've seen to see something that is so original and so, but also in a way so familiar, because there are only so many stories, but her take on it and her use of cinema was really great. And I really want to meet her. I want to interview her, just like pick her brains a little bit. So that I enjoy, and then a lot of the time, because you can, I go back. So I will rewatch a Bergman film, or I'll rewatch, something that I saw when I was much younger, for two reasons. One is to test myself, to see how much have I changed in that time, and the other one would be just to refamiliarize myself. So once I realize that, it's still great, then I watch it, and then as an older person now, I realize I'm seeing it in a different way now.
Yeah.
Which a great film should work for a young person and an older person. Because the resonance will be different. So and there's so many great old films, and there's only so much time. So I don't go to the cinema a lot. I would rather play music, for my time. But when I feel like watching a film, I have my DVD or Blu-ray library, and I'll just. I'm obsessed right now with Godard's Histoire du Cinéma, which is an 8.5-hour documentary. And I just watch 20 minutes of it, anywhere, indiscriminately, and just like marvel at the way his brain works. I find that incredibly inspiring, because it's also such an avant-garde way of dealing with narrative, that it inspires me and gives me confidence in what I'm trying to do myself, Whereas if I see classic narrative films, I kind of go, it's pretty good, but I'm not so interested in that style anymore, personally, I can enjoy it, but it's not going to make me want to rush out and make a film like that, anymore.
What do you wish you could tell your younger self? Do you have any advice?
Probably don't be... I don't know. Sometimes I wish... Two things. One is I wish at a certain point I had maybe confronted an actor earlier when something wasn't working, and I found myself getting into a conflict zone. I wish I'd had the knowledge that to be a director, sometimes swallow your own ego and just be super nice, even though you're working with a total diva that you probably want to strangle. you know, just be nice.
Yeah.
And that they've probably got issues. Deal with their issues. Be nice, and you'll get a better performance. You know, so it's, you know. And the second one is like, because I worked in Hollywood, and I had a couple of classic confrontations with people I should have not had confronted, because I was going to lose.
Yeah.
You know, there was no way I was ever going to win that battle. So but something in my pride or ego made me kind of go, I know, I will not back down. I will stand up for my principles. And actually, I should have been smart enough to know you're not going to win that. So play a more political game, but it's not in my nature, unfortunately. But I look back on, because the thing is, those conflicts take so much time and energy, and they're actually upsetting.
Yeah.
You know, and you end up being really hurt. And that's, again, if you can avoid that, all the better. Know when to walk away from something.
Yeah.
I never walked away, and I should have done. In the 2 or 3 classic situations, I should have just understood the dynamic and I said to myself, you're not going to win that. Take a deep breath, be zen about it, and just sort of say, okay, I resign.
Yeah.
I wish you every success with the project. And instead of which I said, no, you know, it's my way. I'm the director, you know, blah, blah, blah. Naive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was young. Yeah.
Thank you for that advice. I think many people can relate.
I mean, you know, that still possibly can happen on a day-to-day basis. So I still try and do that. I kind of might take a breather. You know, I had a couple of times in the last week where I kind of wanted to fire off an aggressive email, like, why haven't you responded? You know, and I kind of, calm down. You're not going to achieve anything by doing that, so just, you know, back off, you know. And I did. So I listened to myself, yeah.
How do you unwind?
Music.
Music.
So if I'll give you a story. So the last question about conflict.
Yes.
During that conflict, I was back in London editing this film I'd shot in America with a horrible conflict going, you know. And I got really sick in the editing room. And I had, often what happens, it manifests in your back, in your spine. So I ended up with a kind of herniated disc, which is so painful, right?
Oh.
And a Korean doctor came in to treat me, and he came into the editing room, and I had my musical instruments there, guitar, keyboard, and he said, how old are you? And I told him, and he said, you seem younger, but I see you have your music, and you should be much sicker than you are, but I think the music is kind of keeping you healthy up to a point, you know.
Okay.
And so I find if I'm really stressed, if I play classical guitar, because it's a discipline, right? You know, so I love playing Bach. So if I play Bach and they're always pieces very difficult, so it has to be very precise. If I do that for an hour, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay again, and I come out and I'm in a good mood, and my stress seems to have gone. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So music, I think, has saved me so many times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's funny looking at this, and I remember there's a scene in one of my favorite films. I think it's here. What is that? Is that a palace?
Riksdag.
How do you say riksdag? This
Exactly.
is what they're like, yeah.
So it's a scene from that film, I Am Curious, Yellow. You know, and there's a scene where I think they're talking about politics and Swedish politics, and it's all around here, and I recognized it this morning. I remember that from the film.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Sorry, your next question.
No worries. My last one is, can you tell me 2 truths and 1 lie?
2 truths.
Yes.
And 1 lie. 2 truths are... A great truth from Goddard was, you know, which I would make a T-shirt. I will make a T-shirt. It says, "Show me the budget, and then I'll show you the film," not the other way around, right? Meaning, don't write something and then try and get the money. Get the money and then write something for that money. That's a great truth for filmmakers. The other one is from Billy Wilder. And he said, nobody ever went to see a film because it came in on budget, right? Which is a great truth, you know. And then a good lie. Oh, a great lie is, we're all making the same film. They say that on a big budget film. Hey, we're all making the same film. It's bullshit. We're not all making the same film. I'm making a film and I hope that you're helping me realize my vision. But I'm making the film and I'm employing you to help me make the film. But we don't share a vision. In fact, you need my vision, and it's my job to try and explain to you as accurately as possible what my vision is in order for you to be able to help me technically the best that you can, you know. But the statement, we're all making the film, is a colossal lie. On the other hand, it works for the Hollywood system because in a lot of cases they are all making the same film. They're making a highly commercial, cynically created thing that is designed to make money. So they are, in that case, it's a truth. But in my case, it's a lie.
Thank you so much, Mike.
It's a pleasure. I love this.
I love it too.
I could talk forever on this one.
Yeah, I'm so excited and I'm so glad.